Nobody talks about what actually happened inside those caves at night. Not really. Because the version you learned in school, the one with the fire and the spears and the brave hunter standing guard, that version is missing something. Something that changes everything. And by the time this video ends, you will never think about your own fear response the same way again. But first, I need to take you back. Not to a museum, not to a textbook diagram, to a real night. 30,000 years ago, a cave somewhere in what is now Southern Europe. 15 people inside. A fire that has been burning for 6 hours and is now barely coals. And somewhere in the dark at the cave entrance, a sound. Now, before I tell you what happened next, I need you to understand something that most people fundamentally get wrong about ancient humans. They were not brave. Not in the way we use that word today. They were terrified. Constantly, biologically, at a cellular level. The human fear response, the heart rate spike, the tunnel vision, the flood of adrenaline was not designed for modern anxiety. It was designed for exactly this moment. A sound in the dark. Something breathing that is not one of yours. The ancient human brain did not need to think. It already knew. Because the ones whose brains hesitated did not pass their genes forward. Only the ones who reacted and reacted correctly are your ancestors. And here is where the story gets complicated. Because reacting correctly in a cave at night with a predator at the entrance did not mean grabbing a spear. Not first. First, it meant something nobody expected. Complete silence. Every adult in that cave simultaneously, without a single word spoken, went completely still, not frozen with fear. Controlled stillness. Because every ancient human knew from childhood that movement triggers predator attention more than almost anything else. A cave lion in the entrance of a dark space cannot see clearly. It is using sound, smell, vibration through the ground, and 15 humans becoming 15 statues in under 2 seconds was the first line of defense. This was not instinct alone. This was trained behavior. Practice drilled into every child in the tribe from the moment they could walk. Be still. Be silent. Do not be the thing that moves. But here is what makes this extraordinary. One of those 15 people had a job in that moment that had nothing to do with fighting, nothing to do with running, and everything to do with why the human species survived at all. In every ancient band studied by anthropologists, there is evidence of a social role that has no direct modern equivalent. The person who watched everyone else. Not the predator. Everyone else. While the tribe held still in the dark, this person was already calculating. Who is closest to the entrance? Who is about to panic? Which child is about to cry? Where the nearest weapon is? And communicating in complete silence, using hand signals the tribe had practiced for years. Not improvised in the moment. Rehearsed, like a system. Because ancient survival was not reactive chaos. It was a coordinated system built over generations that activated automatically when the worst happened. Now here is the problem nobody talks about. The fire, it was almost out. Fire was the one thing most large predators genuinely feared. Not spears, not numbers, not noise. Fire. And theirs was dying. Someone had to get to those embers without making a sound, without triggering the predator at the entrance. Crawling across a cave floor in complete darkness over sleeping children without a single sound. This took, according to researchers studying predator-human interaction in enclosed spaces, an almost inhuman level of self-regulation. Every nerve in that body screaming to run. Every biological instinct demanding fight or flight. And that person choosing neither. And then, a glow. Small, fragile, everything. The moment that fire came back, the entire power balance in that cave shifted. The predator, which had been advancing in confidence, stopped. Because now it was not hunting sleeping prey in the dark. Now it was considering walking in the firelight. toward 15 awake humans who were ready. And now, for the first time in this story, the spears came out. But not the way you are imagining. Nobody charged. Nobody screamed. Nobody performed individual heroics. They formed a wall, shoulder to shoulder. Spears extended. A single, unified organism, making itself look as large and lethal as possible. And then, on a signal, sound. Not screaming, not panic noise. Deep, rhythmic, coordinated. Every voice in that cave joining into one sound. That communicated one thing to the predator. This is not worth it. And here is the moment. The reveal this entire story has been building toward. The cave lion, one of the apex predators of the ancient world, looked into that cave, at the fire, at the wall of spears, at the unified sound, and it made a decision. It left, not because ancient humans were stronger, not because they were faster, not because any individual in that cave could have survived a direct encounter with that animal alone, because the predator ran a calculation. The same calculation every predator runs. Is the energy I spend on this hunt worth the risk of injury? And 15 coordinated humans with fire and weapons failed that calculation completely. Ancient humans were not apex predators because of physical superiority. They were apex predators because of something that had never existed in the history of life on Earth before them. Collective intelligence under pressure. The ability to think as one without speaking. In the dark. And by morning, the tribe woke up, fed the fire, picked up their tools, and moved on. No trauma counseling, no processing circle, no days of recovery. Because this was Tuesday. Now here's the part of this story I need you to sit with. That ancient human, lying in that cave, heart pounding, body flooded with adrenaline, predator at the door. Their nervous system looked identical to yours. Right now. The same biological fear system. The same adrenaline, the same tunnel vision, the same racing heart. Triggered in you by an email, by a social media comment, by a conversation you have been avoiding for 3 weeks. Your body does not know the difference between a cave lion and a bad day at work. It responds identically. But here's the critical difference. Ancient humans had somewhere to put that fear. It activated and immediately converted into coordinated physical action. Stillness, crawling, formation, sound, unified response. The fear had a job. And when the job was done, the fear was done. Your fear activates and has nowhere to go. No cave wall to press against, no spear to grip, no fire to rebuild. Just the chemistry cycling through a body that was built for action. In a world that demands you sit still and manage it. And here is what else ancient humans did that we have completely lost. After the threat passed, they reset. Completely, quickly, efficiently. No replaying the event, no catastrophizing about next time, no lying awake running scenarios. We do the opposite. The threat passes and we keep it alive inside our own minds. For days, weeks, sometimes years. Replaying the cave lion that already left. Ancient humans were not mentally stronger than you. Their environment demanded an immediate physical response to fear, which meant the fear was used up. Burned through, completed. Your environment removes the physical response and leaves the fear with nowhere to go but inward. Which means the most ancient solution to modern anxiety is the one your body has been asking for this entire time. Move through it. Not think through it. Not talk through it. Move through it. The way every human being did for 300,000 years. Before we built walls safe enough to sit still inside our fear, here is what nobody wants to say. The cave was dangerous. But the humans who lived in it were mentally harder than almost anyone alive today. Not because they were special, because they had no choice but to function through fear. Every single day, something was trying to kill them. And every single day, they got up and functioned anyway. We have built the safest world in human history. Eliminated almost every physical threat our ancestors faced. And we are, by every measurable metric, more anxious, more depressed, more mentally fragile than any generation before us. Maybe the problem is not that life is too hard. Maybe the problem is that we built it so safe, that we forgot what we were built for. And the cave lion we are all really afraid of is not outside anymore. It is the life we are not living.